Hello there, chat. So we're live again. We got some Fancy Star, well, not Fancy Star music, PlayStation demo music on. I'll probably have to explain that in a little bit. Yeah, let's just get everything set up. And by that I mean let's just get the stream sent out to people. TPP says first, hello. Hey, Asteroid, geez, everybody's in here super fast. I've not even, like, posted the links. The heck is going on here today? Everybody's, like, right in here. Okay. Just make sure I'm posting to the right places here right now. I get notifications. Hey everyone that's jumping in. Anyone that's new to the channel that doesn't know what's going on, literally tell me now, because then I can show you exactly what's going on before I get into stuff, because I'm going to be trying to work as hard as I can here. I was introduced to this project by Rev, says Nelikin. I think I've got that right. Nelikin, have you seen the trailer from Rev then? Because if not, I can always show you like the 30-second version. Did you send my VR friend? I've honestly not been on VR chat, so I wouldn't have been able to. I had a bit of an emergency this morning, which has meant I've only just woken up. But yeah, for anyone that needs to, I might have seen it. I'll check what it was. So what I'll do is I'll put the 30-second trailer on real quick. For anyone who wants to know what music is in the background, it's literally PlayStation 1 demo music from like 1997. And the reason is every other music that I keep playing in the background now I get claimed for. So I'm hoping this one is the one that I don't get claimed for, because like I used it ages ago on stream and it was fine. I'm just sorry if it gets a little bit repetitive. I'm going that deep in terms of like trying to avoid all the copyright issues with YouTube. So here we go. Here's the 30-second trailer. This is old now, but it's still good. I'm just opening it in Blender so it's easy. Hey, Classic! I'm just showing off the trailer and then we're good. I see color. Not wireframe. Is that okay, Dave? Says David. Yeah. I'll show you in a moment. So yeah, this is the old trailer that I made about maybe a month ago, tops. I've seen it. It looks so sick. Oh, nice. Okay, so yeah, we even credit Rev the. Where is it? There we go. So there's the credits. So just to go over this again, you know. Based on the hit video game by Toby Fox, with help from the internet, which is the VR chat hub. Wrote by me and Wally, Frisk's voice actress, with assistance from Rev for getting everybody on board for voice acting, and then association with the Creators Co. for extra stuff. But yeah, today we're going to be doing more of the ruins, as much as possible. If you've not seen the other video that I put up, I suggest looking at it just for a moment. It's actually amusing in the sense that I made a mess yesterday. Do you ever get claimed from 2016 Fat Rap Music? No, I get claimed by Materia. I think it's Materia Music for Toby's stuff. And then I've got claimed for a couple of other things like Fancy Star Music the other day. But I can't remember who claimed that. I'd have to have a look. Oh, I remember what the height is here. I was just checking the height of characters to the roof here. And I know it now. What it is we stack Frisk on top of Toriel, and then that's where we get the height of the level. It's just so this is consistent. So about roughly, that's the height of the level. Did you hear YouTube's working on a feature to watch 4 videos at the same time, says DDP? No, but I know they are working on more aggressive monetization. Videos, so like you may get more ad cycles in here. Do you think you'll get claimed by Undertale Delta Room music? Yes. I get claimed all the time for that. Like at the moment, let me have a look here. I'll just check my channel. I'm getting claimed currently for the last Ruins upgrade, the 8th anniversary Hotland stream, and then a bunch of other updates that I've posted. It's kind of annoying. Behind the scenes for Immersiontale, the mocap stuff, and some of the MTT resort stuff. Before I had like 20 claims in because of people trying to claim stuff, which is so annoying. But yeah, anyway, what we're doing here, trying to get the floor in. Oh, I just realized I've got to get the floor in after I get the height. So yeah, let's go over stuff. So, previous stream, people may have seen it. At the end, I was running tech support. I've been going for like 6 hours placing geometry. And what actually happened is, I ended up running tech support on my own scene because it was running at like 10 frames per second, and it shouldn't have been doing that. Yeah, I found out that the mushrooms that I imported, all 260 odd of them that I'd placed individually by hand, they all were generating collision at the same time, which was dropping my frame rate to unsustainable levels. So now by taking off the collision, I now have very sustainable frame rate. So I'm happy about that, but it was a really stupid mistake for me to make, so I'm kind of annoyed at that. Let's put that there, and then take Frisk off of Toriel's head here. And I need to import Napster Bluke. I haven't really much of the videos on this channel, but this is my first stream. The only one I think I saw was the Hotland showcase. Mushroom takes over the world. Indeed it does. But yeah, the Hotland update was really fun to work on, primarily just because of how good it looks. What we're doing here is I'm doing the ruins, of course. I'm redoing them to look as good as Hotland. The only thing is, I'm doing a little bit at a time each stream, and what you'll be seeing mainly is this. I realize I've not opened another window yet, which is dangerous for me. But as long as I don't, like show off textures and stuff, I'm fine. Let's get this set up. So what will be happening here is you'll see bits and bobs of me like doing the project. The idea is I do not want to show off like the full version until it's all good to go, because then we get the biggest sort of surprise for everybody, and everybody can enjoy it at the same level, sort of being like, wow, rather than me showing it off individually, like a little bit here, a little bit there, and spoiling it. So yeah, let's see. We're getting these sizes for the corridors about there, if I remember rightly. Because these corridors have to fit Toriel in. And I want to give her a bit of wiggle room. Damon says, so performance was an issue just for a reason. Let's put it this way, right? I didn't realize how huge Hotland was until I watched the video. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I like doing these updates at the moment because it gives you a really cool idea of the sense of scale in 3D. And because I'm trying to do it as accurate as possible, it's really interesting to see places that you're familiar with, but just at such a massive scale. You know. POV, you're listening to Spider Dance remix right now, it says TPPV. But yeah, here we go. But yeah, the way to explain what happened with performance on the last stream was when you have collision on, or if for those who don't know, this is going to be a little bit techy in terms of my description, so I'm sorry if it bores people. But collision essentially is the computer saying, like, if you have a particle effect or something, like say for instance, leaves falling on the floor. Normally you have a particle effect that says, okay, the leaves will fall from an area that I designate, and then you change how they're affected by wind or whatever. And collision is something that you put on, say, the floor, so that when stuff collides with the floor or touches the floor, the computer calculates where it's landing and says, okay, should I get rid of this or should I let it phase through the floor, you know, as if I don't need to stop it, it just goes through like a ghost. And you can control a lot of things that way. You can set up bigger scenes and things like characters, like say for instance in Snowden, I have collision on characters so that the snow doesn't fall through them and you see it coming out of like the shoulder or whatever. Instead, when it hits them, the snow vanishes. It gets killed instantly like it would in real life. It sticks to your clothes. Well, instead, it just kills the particle effect. Now, normally you do that over a wide area or you only do it on a couple of things because the computer is essentially running these calculations for each individual object. So it can get a bit intensive, as you can imagine, if I put loads of them on screen. And yeah, yesterday was really bad because I had over 260 instances of this collision calculation running. So essentially, it's like me turning around and saying, you know what? I want you to find something for me. Like say, for instance, I give you a massive video game collection and I'm like, I want you to find one particular game out of that collection, but I want you to do that same thing over 200 times. And of course, it gets confusing, it gets tiring, you know, so of course the computer's like, dude, I'm doing this 200 odd times, your frames are gonna drop, and I'm not noticing, and I'm like, oh, what is going on here? Because I just imported the mushroom model. I didn't check it, see whether there was any collision, because I didn't expect there to be any on it. So of course, it's trying to do these collisions over and over and over again, and I'm just like, oops. So yeah, I didn't blow up my computer, thank God. But it was definitely not the wisest of things to do. You know, sort of turning around and being like, oh yeah, let's just throw this in and then check what it is. Instead, I should have checked a little bit more beforehand. So yeah, a little word of advice for anybody that's doing collision stuff in Blender. Please check what's got collision and what hasn't, because you don't want everything having collision. How long has this been in the works? I started working on this, I think about a year ago, roughly. I got it to roughly about I got the ruins done, then I got the True Lab done, and I got halfway through Snowden, and as I was doing it, I thought, you know what? I need voice actors for this, because I'd been working with the cinematic dub, for anyone who's familiar with that. I've been working with the cinematic dub's lines to try and get the timing right, and my idea was I'd put out a demo and then get help. So I put the demo out, and of course Rev saw it and was just like, dude, I want to help out, this sounds really cool. So I'm just like, oh, thank you very much. You know, so everything's gone from there. Of course, you see me upgrading things now. Honestly, it's not too bad. It can be done pretty quickly. It's more just the whole thing of getting us back up to speed. The new computer that I've got specifically for this project, the animation is sped up by that a lot. And since I've been playing around with stuff, I've found more efficient ways of doing things. So hopefully it will not take long. The idea is I want it preferably to be done by the next anniversary, if I can. That would be really, really nice. So we're gonna have to see what happens there, but I'm hoping that I can get it all done for the next Undertale anniversary. Let's just do this. I'm just trying to make sure I get all this geometry in the right place here. What we're doing is we're doing just like a very basic block out version of this. And then I'm just going to make it all one thing. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, for anyone that's seen these streams before, you know what happens. You know the whole deal of like how long this takes and just how much effort I put in. So this is going to be crazy. I'm also going to put a load of greenery in here again. And then we get to do the spiderweb bit, which is going to be really fun. So I might actually leave the texturing for a while and then do that after the spiderwebs. Just so that the spiderwebs are in place and we know what's going on. So, do this here. Yeah, sorry for the weird music. I'm trying to not get copyright. claimed by YouTube at the moment. So we shall have to see how it goes. YouTube are being like super aggressive with that stuff right now, so... Let me go up here. Did you build the different areas in that odd order just so you could get a good trailer out? What happened was, I was going through in order. I thought, right, I'll do the ruins. I'll do the Snowden. And as I was doing Snowden, I realized that while I was prototyping other areas, so ones like Waterfall and Hotland, I noticed that I couldn't do the ending, the True Pacifist ending, because I didn't have the amalgamates. So what I did was I went online to the Undernet Hub and I asked Floral Pikmin, one of the other creators that had made the amalgamates, could I use their amalgamate models? And we came up with a deal for using them, which essentially was, look, you can use them as long as you don't use them for anything else that, you know, would allow you to make money off them, because I'm using them for VR chat and they're not for that kind of thing. So don't go making money off them. I'm trusting you not to share them around, but what you've got to do is show me that you're using them for what you say you're using them for by finishing the animation for the True Lab. So I was like, okay. So that's when I started going for the True Lab and getting the True Lab done. And then once I'd got the True Lab done, that's when we were like, okay, now we go back to Snowden, you know. So some of the other stuff that you see, like a little bit of Hotland, really early on with like Metaton in it from the trailer, and Undyne, those bits were very early rough drafts that I was doing to get an idea of how I would do bits of the animation, how I'd make it look and stuff. That's why they're in there. And then the rest is just stuff that I've been doing, getting back to Snowden and then working from there. But then when we dropped the Hotland update and the Judgment Hall preview, I'd already like upped the visual quality so much that I was like, I can't put out the other levels now because they're all using sprite-based stuff. So I'm gonna have to redo them. So now I'm redoing the rest of the areas. So I need to do the ruins and Waterfall properly in the same style as Hotland, and then everything will be done. But I will admit the idea was to try and get a demo or a video out to people to try and get help, you know, with the voice acting, so I could get the timing right. So it's part of it was like, yeah, let's see if we can get any help, and then we'll go from there, you know, and see if we can go further with this. So I'm pushing on as quickly as I can to get this done. Can we get another look at the ruins, or at least home? I can show you old footage of it. That's as much as I can give you. Old footage that will not be representative of the final version, if you're all right with that. Because it features the player, which the player's not going to be in as much. So it literally will make no sense compared to what we're going for. And it will not be reflective of the final quality. Because I'm trying to avoid showing the final quality stuff until I drop this next big update, which will be similar to the Hotland one, where I show off all of the ruins in all its new glory. And I also want to show Waterfall if possible, which is what I'm trying to do now, is work on the idea for Waterfall of what it will look like, while I'm also doing the ruins, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Let's try, what was that? Don't get that there. Okay, so we skip this next room. What we do is, I'm modeling this interior here, and this is a fake out. It's just for Napster Bloops bit. Take this, we stretch that out, and we don't go any further in that room because we're skipping all of this puzzle bit, and we're going straight to Toriel's place. So we're pretty close to Toriel's house. And then for here, I might do like this area just as a little thing where we have like a balcony come out and we find out that Toriel's place is on like a plateau or something. And then we can overlook the old version of the monster's home. Could we get a release date? I can't give that. I really can't give that. Primarily because what I'm doing is I'm sending out the lines to the voice actors, and then I'm waiting for them to get back to me with the lines, you know, like the reads. I'm not going to be pushy with them. I'm not going to like be super aggressive and say I need it now, where are the lines or anything. I'm just being polite and waiting for them. So until I get the lines back, I can't animate, which is why I'm using this time now to upgrade everything, because it gives me time for it. But yeah, what I will do is when I've got the lines, that's when I'll start animating and stuff. That's going to be really fun. What I'll be doing is I've already thought of doing a more in-depth video to show off certain things and explain them. Like for instance, showing off bits of the older version, and then showing off, you know, like bits of the new stuff, what's been done, and just trying to give people a general update without me talking for like half an hour about things, because I don't want to put people to sleep. So yeah. Right, let's try and get this base geometry done. Let's do base geometry. But yeah, it's nice to see everybody in chat again as well. I did not expect to see everybody here so fast. You know, it just shows how much you guys want this, and it's nice, you know, to get the support. If you can say, will there be story stuff, like story and voices that aren't shown in gameplay? Because all I know is this going to be a recreation of the True Pacifist run. So, what the idea is, it's going to be the True Pacifist run. But the catch is that it includes the player. And the idea that the whole namesake Immersiontale comes from the idea of the player being so immersed, they actually think they're there. But that means that there's a little bit of swapping around between Frisk and the player in certain instances. I don't want it to be too much, but just enough that it adds a little bit to the experience. Frisk has their own voice, so they can react to different things, but most of the dialogue from the characters and everything will be the original. There are some instances that I want to play around with and do little references to. People have already asked me, I'm going to put references to Shape Dreamer in. I really want to, I just don't know where to put them yet. And then on top of that, people have asked me stuff like, are you going to have memes in? Are you going to have Easter eggs? Are you going to have Gaster in? What's going on? I want to include as many Easter eggs and little funny things, and I do want to include Gaster as well. The player is an actual character, yes. The idea is the player is going through the same journey as Frisk, because obviously everybody knows if you play Undertale, the player is in control of Frisk, essentially. And it's made more apparent on the Genocide run that the player influences Kara. So imagine the True Pacifist route where the player is there, but they're not being mean, and they're experiencing what Frisk is doing in their journey, and they're kind of phasing in and out of it. Their imagination is filling in the gaps. So occasionally they'll be part of the action or part of the journey, and then they'll be taken out of that again later on. It's a different spin on things, which allows me to do some interesting things in terms of telling another story on top of what's going on, because it's almost like you're telling the True Pacifist story of Frisk saving all of the monsters, or at least helping with that, but you're also telling the tale of Asriel and Kara, and then a player. And the idea is that the player themselves is kind of torn between whether they should be good or not, and a lot of heavy baggage that they have to deal with. So I'm just trying to work that out at the moment in terms of like exactly how much I'm going to include from that, because I don't want it to be too intrusive, but I want it to be just enough that it adds a little uniqueness to the story, which is why in the trailers on the Undernet Hub we actually have the player there. Oh. Do you have an active for Monster Kid? Yes, we do. With the Muffet fight, will player / Frisk use a spider donut? Yes. The idea is, because it's True Pacifist, we want everything to be as nice as possible. So the spider donut will be used, but not at the very beginning of the fight. So it plays out the way that I've thought of the spider encounter at the moment is I've almost thought of it like a little bit of a food fight. You know, so I described it to some people when I was trying to come up with the idea, and I was like, imagine all the tiny spiders and Muffet throwing croissants and pastries at the characters, and they're trying to like duck behind tables and stuff to avoid getting hit by them. I just thought that'd be so much fun, plus then bouncing on all the webs and stuff. I've still got to design the rest of that arena because it's all inside a really dark cave at the moment, but it's going to be so fun. Let's see. Milliken says, so the player has the ultimate existential crisis. Yeah, the best way I can describe it is, imagine before playing the game, the player is suffering from like the worst bout of depression possible, and the whole point of going through the game is to figure out, you know, whether they're really a bad person and getting over depression, or whether they'll fall prey to depression and whether they're a good person or not. So ultimately, it's like, it's them slowly coming to realize things about themselves and getting over it. And that also helps, it contrasts with the whole thing of whether Kara is good or not throughout the story, which everybody knows if you're familiar with the narrator Kara theory about Kara being influenced by the story. It's pretty much a parallel to that. And when I say depression, I don't mean like, I'm not going to be referencing any really deep stuff in the story. Nothing that would change the tone of it or anything. It's just, it's going to be alluded to. You know, a bit like with the whole thing of Frisk potentially being alluded to, you know, like going up the mountain for not so savory reasons, or Kara. You know, it's like, it'll be alluded to, but it won't be gone into like some AUs where people explicitly say like what happened. You know, I'm gonna have it so like the viewers are gonna have to piece together what happened themselves. You know. But yeah, apart from that, the idea is to make this as accurate as possible, all in 3D, to show off all the characters' emotions as much as possible, and just make it as entertaining as it can be. Just doing the geometry here. This is so much deeper than I thought. It's not necessarily about Undertale story, it's about someone's own emotional journey. Yes, a little bit. It's essentially, it's their own emotional journey paralleling Undertale. It's almost like Undertale's the catalyst to get them to remember things and to change. You know, so it's a case of trying to work that in a way that will not change the tone of the original story, but will more complement it and have a more sort of like extra bit to it, you know, because I don't want to mess around with Undertale's pacifist story. It's too good, you know. Dave, how's the wife and kid? They're okay, Audio. She went to the hospital, or they both went to the hospital this morning because of my daughter being a little bit stuffy. She's having a little bit of problems breathing because we think she had a cold, but she seems to be fine now. So, do you have any by any chance have any child monsters I could play? Not that I know of. I don't think we've got practically all of them cast. Like the only stuff that I'm waiting to cast now is like fish receptionist, hand receptionist, shambling mass. These are all female roles as well. Dogamy and Doggeressa, which are the two dogs from the dog squad, or the dog couple. And Onion San. Could it at least make a noise for Bun Bun? I don't even have a model for Bun Bun. I honestly don't have a model for Bun Bun. That's the thing with this. It's a really large community project. For, like, obviously, explaining this to people that are new and have only just found the channel. It's a very large community project where essentially I'm getting models and help from everybody to do this, because I've done animating and modeling a little bit in the past, but I'm more of a modeler, like for levels and things, and I've learned a lot by being self-taught. But the idea is like I needed to get help doing all of this, and I just wanted to focus on animating it to improve my animation. So that's where I've been getting help from everybody else. Oh. So it's actually one of the, I think, the larger projects that the community has done, primarily because of how many people are kind of getting into it and helping out at the moment, which is pretty crazy when I think about it. Audio says, Fate Samurai Remnant in 8 hours, so a bit filled with hype at the moment. Oh, nice. Nice. Isn't Gil a shopkeeper in that again? I just need to be reminded about that. I've got a message. Oh, okay, the message is from Flowey's voice actor and Asriel's voice actor, just asking with the lines good, and I'm like, these line reads are great. Did I? Because we did a session the other day. I need to do another session next Tuesday. Because we're up to the end of the neutral run in terms of line reads. And then it's going all in on the true pacifist ending reads. That's going to be interesting. And then we're going to do all the audio mixing and everything. Honestly, I was never really in the Undertale fandom, but I'm still a huge fan of the games and characters and stories, so excited for the next chapter of Deltarune, says Nellikin. The thing is, I only properly became a fan, like, maybe about a year ago or so, and it's like, I always kind of looked at Undertale as, like with everybody else, of that weird game where Sans is in it and he's supposed to be funny. And I didn't take it too seriously. And then, like, last year, I was just like, you know what, I'll finally dedicate some time to it and actually see what everyone's talking about, you know, like what the big fuss is about. And then after I played it, I was like, oh, I understand what everybody's like now, you know. I understand why everybody likes this. So it's been a really cool experience, and then I've slowly been getting into the fandom and everything and trying to experience things differently. So I've gone onto like VR and gone around all of the Undertale worlds in VR, and I talked to a lot of the creators. It's just been really fun. You know, I'm kind of upset with myself that I shrugged it off as like a silly little game where there was a guy, a skeleton in that talks in like memes or puns. It totally undermines everything, you know, when you kind of approach it like that and be like, oh, it's just a silly little game. It's like, no, it really isn't, you know. Undertale is so dark, it's why it's so good. Or rather, Undertale is so dark and so good. It can be really dark, but I feel like it balances the darkness with the funny aspect and the more interesting elements, especially like some of the more uplifting moments. It's definitely got its very sad side to it though as well, which is always heartbreaking. If you could make a Deltarune series, because I voice Chris as TPPP, honestly, I don't know whether I'm going to do that at the moment, because like I've said before, the only reason I can do this is because I'm getting help from everyone for like models and things. So what I'm doing is I've got like 11 pages of credits now for everybody, and those are constantly getting updated. In fact, I need to update them more. But I've got 11 pages of credits crediting absolutely everyone for every little thing. So if I get an idea from somebody says like, you know, I think the ruins should look like this, or waterfall should look like this, and I like it, that gets used. You know, if somebody helps out with an update or is it an event, I credit everyone because I feel like that is appropriate. And by doing that, a lot of people have got involved in this project. And the credits are going to be absolutely massive. So it's going to be interesting seeing just how many people end up in the credits at the end. Even people you wouldn't expect. Like, for instance, if I look at a piece of artwork on, say, like Tumblr or Google or whatever, and I can find the actual creator, I credit them in the reference section of the credits. And by doing that, they get in on the credits, and then the credits become longer, you know, because I've used somebody else's work, so it's more than, or rather, it's the right thing to do to credit them. I was trying to think of what to say there, so it's like, it's not doing something so big and having so many people working on it, but it's really nice as well, because it's a really big passion project. Like I was saying before, I got a new PC for this, a completely new PC. I got a VR headset so I could do motion capture. You know, so it's crazy just how much effort I'm putting into this so far, and I think people are picking up on that and realizing, because I've had so many people turning around me like, dude, there's so much effort going into this, and I'm like, I know, and it's crazy, you know. TPP says, I'm hopping off. All right, TPP. Thanks very much, and I'll talk to you later. Audio says, I feel like he's going to have a bigger role than simple shopkeeper. Why? Because it's Gil. Indeed. Gil should always have a grand role fit for a king. Will the player choose S? You might need to reword that again, Melican. Deltarune is so much darker than Undertale, that's for sure. Like, unlike Child Exploring, it's a teen dealing with personal issues and life that sucks. Indeed, Deltarune is pretty dark. I hate when comments said like that before I'm done typing. Oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. There's no rush. Let's try and grab this here, and then we're just gonna extrude that out a little bit, and then go in from the sides. This is gonna be the details and the geometry, just a little bits here and there. Do this. Audio. Just wondering, you know, for like fake characters, can you post up who's going to be in Samurai in the video game section and tag me? It's just so I can check which servants are going to be in, because I don't think I'm familiar with a lot of them. Because it's a Muso game, I might jump in on it. I'm not so sure. I've not played a Muso in years. Stream is lagging pretty bad for me. It might be my Wi-Fi. Sometimes it does lag. Let me check. Oh no, we've got 5,000 kilobytes. When I type, I say full sentence in my head and forget to add full words, so all good, says Audio. Finding many awesome worlds on VR chat, says Damon. I'm gonna save this and drag you into it at some point. Dude, by all means, like I'm down for exploring worlds in VR chat again. It's just a case of getting time. What I think I might do is, after I've done like this bit with Napster Luke, is take a couple of days out, because it's going to be tutorials next, and tutorials is a lot of like finding things around the home. So it's like, if I can just like take a little bit of a break, find references for certain items and stuff to make them in 3D and look a little bit better, and then come back strong and finish off tutorials and the stairs underneath tutorials that lead to the exit of the ruins, then we should see that done within the next couple of days. Excuse me, I pick up there a little bit. Like I was saying before about takeaways and stuff, like in terms of food, because of me basically staying awake for 24 hours to look after my daughter, I ended up falling asleep for most of the day. So I woke up, had some takeaway, and then I've just got on stream, so fun times. Oh, I'm having a drink. Nelikin says, it might be a dumb question, but if the player tries to choose a mean dialogue option, since Frisk is their own person in this, will they try and deny it? I'm gonna try playing it. Like the way that the story plays out is the player already knows that potentially something's up with them. You know, they're going through a pretty heavy point in their life, so they know that they shouldn't really be doing mean stuff. And the idea is I'm going to have them grapple with it a little bit, especially like Waterfall, because Waterfall obviously has that sort of like very dark and foreboding atmosphere to it that's kind of, it's portrayed a little bit by not just how the artwork is, but the music. The music for me in Waterfall is like very sort of dark and somber. So the idea is Waterfall's going to be the sort of the changing point of everything, of the player realizing that they really need to step it up a bit. Up until then, though, they kind of come into it and they're just sort of leaning with it, so they're not killing anything, they're not choosing really nasty options at the moment. It's just kind of them slowly getting immersed in things a little bit, where the boundary between whether the game is still a fantasy or whether it's actually something more than that, it starts slowly breaking a little bit. And then as things progress, they're going to get a little bit more screen time, but not too much. The idea is still to focus on Frisk as much as possible. And then what's going to happen is it's going to play out a little bit more at the end as to where they're a little bit more active. But the idea is they're not going around and being so totally angry all the time and being like, oh, I definitely want to go kill this like monster or whatever all the time. It's more just they're struggling with their own feelings at that point in time. You know, as to like, where are they? What are they meant to do? Thinking and remembering a load of things that they've done and just trying to get over that. It's going to be interesting to try and portray that in a way that struggle that is good, you know, and won't sort of be too crazy or impact the story too much. A good example of this would be like when Frisk sleeps in home at Toriel's place. I want there to be almost like a cut-in sort of nightmare scene where the player remembers a little bit about the past and it alludes a little bit to it, and then Frisk wakes up. You know, so it's a little bit of switching around here and there. One of the other moments is going to be at the statue in Waterfall, the one that looks a little bit like Asriel, the one that you put the umbrella on, is sitting down there and reflecting on things. That's going to get a little bit more story. It's just sort of slowly introducing these elements to the story that allow you to piece together what's happened. There's some dialogue sections with Toriel where it's a mix of the player and Frisk, so it's almost like Frisk is there, or always there, but the player is slowly bleeding through them a little bit, so you get a little bit of Frisk talking and then the player's voice mixing in a little bit with that. It's a balancing act that I've got to do to make sure it adds to the story and doesn't ruin it. You know, it's going to take a lot of implementation, but those are just examples so I can give you at the moment of what I'm doing. Like, another struggle is going to be obviously Asgore in the end of the neutral run, because it's that whole thing of you can't do anything but attack him. And for that, I'm going to be modeling the new HUD element later on, because I've modeled some of the menus in 3D. One of the other menu things that I need to model at the moment that I realized I need to do is the attack window, you know, where you've got the giant, almost like an eye-looking thing, and the slider goes across, and when you click, that's when you can attack. I've got to model that so that I can have that portrayed on screen, because the idea is that Frisk, unlike in other AUs and stuff, where Frisk or other characters can interact with like the menu buttons, the idea in this one is it's only the player that sees them because they're the ones interacting with them. It's not Frisk or anybody, you know, so it's a different spin on everything. I hope I've explained that well enough as well, because it's like I'm trying to make sure I don't overdo it, you know. The cool thing I like about this, though, is that, like, I'm letting people get as much free range as possible with not just the voice acting, but like some of the lines as well. Like for instance, Frisk's entire dialogue is wrote by Frisk's voice actress. And then I just pass a couple of ideas between them and try and make sure that we're all fine with it. The idea is just that, you know, we're on the same page then and it's consistent, but it's a case of making Frisk not come across as either like super depressed or not like too crazy, but still having funny moments in there as well. Ooh. The whole player idea does remind me of the Underplayer. The funny thing was, it's like I watched Underplayer, like the video version of it, after coming up with the idea for it, because I hadn't really experienced any AUs. So I was just like, yeah, I'll come up with this idea that I want to do for this movie. And then I went through and was looking at things for ideas. And while I was crafting the story, I watched Glitch Tale, Underverse, and Underplayer. And the interesting thing that I liked about Underplayer was the whole thing of, you know, the player wanting to get the happy ending, but having to essentially go through multiple different timelines and make sure everybody survived. While also not really being too nice, but not being bad either. It was a strange thing. But that came across as a little bit more cheery to me, at least, because just the way that the player portrays themselves. They're not like a force for good or evil as sorts, but they still want, you know, the happiest ending for everybody. But I did like the idea of a hacker being there. That was pretty neat. But then I was thinking to myself, I was like, well, what would happen if you treat this like every other player? And what I mean by that is, like, whenever you look in comments and stuff for Undertale's music, or just people genuinely that have experienced Undertale, you'll notice one of the most common things is people saying, look, I was in a really bad place and, you know, Undertale really helped. I absolutely love these characters. They're so nice. And then that's when I was like, you know what, let's explore that concept of what happens when the players actually get more immersed to the point where they feel like they're actually there, that they feel like they have this connection. You know, let's capitalize on that thing that Toby did so well, which is making you actually care about these characters because they're not just ones and zeros to some people. You know, especially if you're not doing the genocide run. Hey, Sky! Audio says I posted it. Thank you very much, Audio. Nellikin says, will there be a silly little Goober moments with Frisk? I'm having silly moments with Frisk. One that we said we were going to have a laugh with was Frisk repeatedly falling off the ice in Snowdon and just getting really frustrated by not being able to do the ice puzzle where it's the switches. And other little things like that. It's basically a case of me and Frisk's voice actress run the lines between each other and ideas about what we think will be funny or cool, but also will not be overdoing it at the same time. And I think she said the funniest part for her is probably going to be the bit with the date with Papyrus, because that's going to be played really goofy. So it's going to be interesting. But then obviously we've got a load of like self-reflection moments as well. Not so much for Frisk, but for things like having to deal with Undyne being frustratingly powerful, or dealing with the fact that Alphys seems a little bit too relatable to some people, you know, in the way that they treat themselves. And then we've got the whole frustration with having to essentially really beat up Asgore, you know, so... The one thing, and I always keep saying it, my intention is never to take away from the original vision. It's to try and add a little bit more to it that makes it a little bit interesting on top of what's already there, you know. Sky, I'm having to play PlayStation 1 music to avoid getting copyright striked. I love the way it's lagging so much here. Apparently it's just like going crazy at the moment. You can hear it. Yeah, so what happened was, when I used to do a load of like 3D modeling streams ages ago for like robots and stuff, I used to play this music in the background on repeat because I used to listen to it as a kid. So it's like, I got no problem with it, but it is a little bit drony and goes on and on and on. And I was like, I never got copyright claimed for this, so maybe I can use it to avoid everybody copyright claiming me for like Undertale music or Fancy Star music. And I hope it it works. I hope I don't get claimed this time. But the only thing is, you have to listen to what essentially is like European pop. Or European techno music. Careful, PS1 music will get you copyright strike too. Nah, this is the demo music, man. This isn't even official. This is made just for demos. Yeah. Classic says, just outdoors, commercial cut on stream. Guess YouTube paid you for that. What YouTube are doing is they're giving you the options of being either more aggressive or less aggressive with your monetization. So I've just left it on default here for the moment, so I guess we'll see how it goes. You know. It's interesting that they've done that though, because obviously monetization is a big part of doing like any production. So Toby did such an amazing job making his characters feel like real people. Indeed, I absolutely love it, and I think part of it is that they're really relatable in the struggles in terms of like, for instance, Undyne suffers from the whole thing of just jumping in and trying to get stuff done way too quickly. She's like super aggressive at trying to help out everybody else, but it comes across as though she's incredibly intimidating. And the reason, you confidently say she's that type of person is because she even wants a fair fight with Frisk. Like when she's doing the boss fight with her, she throws Frisk a spear to allow them to defend themselves. So it's like, she wants a fair fight, she wants to do the right thing, but she comes across as overly aggressive because of how she presents herself. Alphys is very self-deprecating because she hates the fact that she has to lie to everyone and that she's failed at certain things. She wants to live up to the expectations of everybody else, but she's done so many things that she feels really guilty about that she sits there in her own guilt and it literally just keeps on consuming her. There's a lot of different things about Undertale's characters that people can find relatable and you can get attached to, and it's just that they're so well wrote. I think that's what makes it appealing to quite a lot of people, is just the simple fact of you can easily relate to quite a lot of the cast. I got pretty attached to characters in Sea of Stars, says Sky. Game's written really well. Oh, nice. I really like it when games are wrote well like that, because it's all the difference between playing a game and be like, right, how long is this? Like 6 hours? Okay, let's see if this is enjoyable. Sitting down with a game that you're excited about, getting really in on it, and then just be like, wow, this is awesome. Because the whole idea for Immersiontale, or this animation, came from the whole idea of just, you get so invested in the characters in the world, you start to notice that the sprite work doesn't really make a difference anymore. Your imagination fills in the gaps. So even though the sprite work is really pretty, it's like your imagination fills in what the sprites are giving you a very basic look of. And as a result, your imagination just runs wild. You're having all this crazy journey in your head, like, wow, the ruins are awesome, or like waterfall looks so pretty. And all you're looking at is sprites, but your brain is doing the hard work. And I really like that sort of whole crazy element to it, where essentially it's like your brain is doing massive amounts of work filling in the blanks, but it's a unique experience that only certain people have, depending on how invested they are, and it really does make or break the experience, I think, for Undertale. You know, if you don't care about the characters at all, if you don't care about any of it and you just treat it as a standard RPG where you have to kill everybody, then it's very heartless, you know, and it doesn't work. You know, it doesn't work if you go through and kill everybody and basically do what Flowey's been doing throughout all the time he's had the ability to save and reset. Whereas if you treat all the characters as if they are actual people with their own lives and their own feelings, that's when Undertale hits the most. Because that's when you start relating to the characters and you start thinking, you know what? If I was in their shoes, or have I gone through something like that before? You know, and then that's when the emotional part of it starts affecting you and you start getting gut punched by all the sad moments or the things that you think, oh, that really is, you know, upsetting and stuff like that. It's really special on how it can do that. I get attached to little nightmares. It's anything at this point, says Nellikin. I was freaking out the other night when I was doing the ruins here and I had the frame rate issue, primarily because I thought it might be the new water effects that I've done. I was like, oh my god, am I going to have to get rid of the new water effects because they look so amazing. The problem is, it's like, if it had been the water effects, I wouldn't have been able to make Waterfall look as good as I plan. But thankfully, that wasn't the case. So Waterfall is going to look so good. It's going to be brilliant. It's funny how in Sea of Stars, it's not the characters that are elevated to be heroes that are most marking? Says Sky? It's not even the protagonist, but completely average person doing extraordinary things. Ooh. In The Walking Dead VR, there's a choice where you can save someone or delete them for your own selfish gain. I wanted to see what happened, but if you deleted them, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Says Nellikin. I could never do that sort of thing. Like, I couldn't do a genocide route in Undertale, especially after doing the true pacifist route. And it's just terrible. I can't think of why I would bring myself to do that to the characters that have, you know, found their own happy ending. Especially when Flowey points it out and goes, you know, the only person that's left to endanger all your friends is you, right? You know, and I'm like, oh no. You know, so I could never bring myself to do a genocide run at all. Like, I couldn't. That kind of... I've never been one to, like, mess around with that kind of thing. So... I am not that heartless. Let's... By the way, somebody described Undertale as like kids' first philosophy game, but I think the unique thing is you can play it at any age and get something out of it. Like, for instance, you could treat it as kids' first philosophy game, a way of saying to people, look, be nice, but remember, you still can't trust everybody because you could be nice to somebody, but they might still be nasty to you. You know, there might be no changing that person, so you've got to be careful. But, like, at the same time, you can take that from a much older approach where you may have done something that you regret or you're just not happy with certain things, and then you see relatable things happening in the story, and you're just like, you know what, this is a little bit of a wake-up call. You know. So it's... I think it works well for all ages. Let's move this here. That's the water. Oh, model might go funny here for a moment because I had a little bit of water in my eye then. Okay, so we've done the basic geometry here. I need to get the materials set up. I need to do the spiderwebs. I need to get all the scenery, and I need to get Naps the Blue in here. I ordered a small meatball sub, so good with my pumpkin tea. Sorry, I'm back to this classic. Dude, are they already doing pumpkin tea at Subway? Like, I know it's getting close to Halloween and everything, but have they started doing that now? I think that's slightly... If I go in here for a moment and just check this out, I mean, that's slightly wider though, is that... The thing is, if I make it narrow like it's meant to be, I can have Naps the Blue just like sitting there, but if I make it a little bit wider, it just makes the area look a little bit more open. What country are you in? I am in the UK, or England. Let's see here. I'm just trying to figure out what to do next. Probably the materials. I'll do the materials and get them done. This is going to be a lot of messing around, so you guys are going to see all this being done. It won't be too bad, and I'm not going to be spoiling anything. As you can see, I've gotten rid of a lot of the UI now, so that's not going to spoil stuff. But you are going to see how I set up the materials. So I'm just going to quickly grab the other Blender window, slap it over here, go to shading, and then I can switch between them. Can I like put that there? Okay, there we go. I can see. I need a third screen. I'm gonna have to like set up a third screen in this room so I can like see more of chat. Because I've got two screens at the moment. I could probably get the other one from downstairs and see whether that works. Not enough screens, man. Okay, so what I need here is base geometry. So we're going to copy some stuff here at the moment. This is going to be bricks. So this is going to be brick 1 basic. Brick 1, base, oh, basic. Put it in brackets so I know what it is. Right, I'm just going to copy some of my other stuff here so I know what I'm doing. What is it? Texture, image texture. I'm going to open this, go to the ruins textures, brick 3. Right, and then we put that into base, displacement, add displacement. I'm just going to literally copy exactly what I've done before so it all looks the same even though I've got it in different files. Height, displacement, 0.3 I believe that is. Yes. Okay, and then specular's 5, roughness 1, bump. Bump into height. That goes into normal, and then that is dropped to 0.1, and that's the brick texture done. I bought the tea, it looked so good as I went to the gas station. They had pumpkin tea with whipped cream. Oh, nice. Nelkin says, I'm in the US. There's a really good Korean barbecue here called Mr. Kim's. Don't you have to have one outside of the US? I've not heard of it. But one of the things you can get is cold pumpkin juice. Ooh. This guy says, go nuts, build yourself an MS Sphere cockpit and use that as your screen. Oh, dude. No, like, I know one person from the old Armored Core community built themselves a simulator in America. And what it was they got a HOTAS setup that they made themselves. This is for emulated versions of AC. They got a HOTAS setup, set that up themselves. And then, if I remember rightly, I don't know whether they had like a VR headset on or not, but I know they had a projector set up and they made themselves like a chair with a wooden cockpit surround going around them. And it was not, I don't know whether I covered it on the channel ages ago. I'll have to see if I can find the guy again. I swear his name was like Fire Dragon or something like that. I'll have to see if I can find it again. But yeah, it was pretty cool. He used to talk to me quite a lot when I used my older Discord account. But yeah, he was really cool. He's just like, dude, check this out. I'm making my own sim. And I'm like, wait, why are you telling me? He's just like, oh, I thought you'd be interested. You know, you do an AC stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I check it out, and it's absolutely insane. Brick 2 ruins. This is Brick 2. Brick 2 old. I keep putting everything in brackets here so I know exactly what I'm doing. Wait. Add texture, image texture. Old. That goes into base color there. And there we go, displacement, object space. Okay, so displacement, height, displacement, the scale 1.4, specular, roughness. Why has it got 0.5 as the roughness? It's whatever. I'll take it. So we do bump here, so color into bump height. This just tells the materials how complicated they are and what each one of them is going to do, like how effective it's going to be. So, into normal, and for bump height, we're going to do 0.05. It's only a little bit. That should be all of that done now. Let's just check chat. Skyward says, hello, what's going on today? Skyward, have you been in one of these streams before? Just so I can make you familiar with it if you haven't. Classic says, so are we using an AI script or full script? Oh, this is just materials. Classic, this is just setting up. I don't think I'll ever learn what this screen is. I was in the last stream for a little while. I am so sorry I messed up there then. It's primarily just because normally I remember people that come back frequently. It's just I've been doing a lot today, so my memory is a little bit fuzzy. So I'm incredibly sorry about that. Didn't mean any offense. What we're doing today is I'm making all the textures and we're doing the section. I'm slowly getting everything ready to do the bit where Napster Blook is. So what we're doing here, for people who don't know Blender or anything about it, this is a window where we tell a texture how it should look. So, for instance, you have, say, wallpaper in a house. Wallpaper generally looks pretty flat, isn't shiny, or at least normal wallpaper isn't shiny. It's got a certain pattern to it. And the idea is, this bit here, the green bit, this giant properties bit here, tells us, or rather tells the engine how it should render everything. So for instance, we can make things more metallic. So if we ramp that up to like 1, that'll then show everything as looking like it's made out of metal. If it's 0, it's not made out of metal. And we can get different value, like effects by tweaking everything. Specular is how much a light shines off something. So say for instance, if you put it at 0, no light shines off it, it's totally flat. If you have it at 0.5, light bounces off it, gives it a little bit of lighting. If you put it at full, it's pretty reflective. Roughness tells something how rough it is. So say for instance, if you have an incredibly smooth surface, you set it to 0 and it almost looks like a mirror. If you put it to 1, everything's super rough and you don't get any reflections. And it's stuff like that where you can mix and match these effects. And what I'm essentially doing here with this brick texture is the actual texture itself, the image of bricks is here. And what I'm saying to this particular part is I'm saying, look, I want this to be affected in 3D space, so it almost looks like the texture's 3D. We're going to fake that a little bit. And on top of that, all the little details with the texture, if there are any bumps in it, if it's like rock or brick, give me a little bit of height detail on that. So if light hits it, it looks like it's bumpy and it's not flat, like it's actually got some grain to it, you know. So that's what we're doing here, is setting up all of that. It's visual properties for textures, yeah. Hey, Fifi Flag. Your wallpaper is edible, eater. So yeah, that's just... Pepperidge Farm remembers this guy. So yeah, this is a lot easier to work with than stuff in the past. Like, in the early 2000s, there used to be much harder ways of doing this. But what ended up happening was, at a certain point when I think it was Unreal Engine 3 was done, or I think it might have been even earlier, it might have been an earlier version of Blender that did it, but they introduced the node system, which is this, where instead of like having to find different menus and drop down windows and go all the way through that for each one, it would take forever to go down through all these different things and set all that up. Instead, it's like you just drop nodes in and line them up to each other, and as long as you know what that node does, then it will give you the desired effect. Like, for instance, we can put a gradient on a texture and then slap that gradient into the alpha section here, and the alpha controls essentially how see-through something is, depending on what color it is. Normally for alpha, if something is black, like jet black as you can go, it's completely see-through. If something is white, solid white, then you can't see through it. So the idea is you can isolate or mask an area and then have like the background be completely transparent by plugging it into the alpha, but whatever isn't transparent on there will be shown up on screen. Emission controls how much something glows. So for instance, if we put like a image into emission and then change the strength to say like 20, what that tells it is, yeah, this thing is going to glow like mad. So essentially like a living room light or maybe some car headlights. And it just gives you that ease of tweaking things. Oh, so it's pretty cool. I just realized I need to turn on all these settings, turn that down, and turn the frame rate to 60. Oh, and I also need to change the background color to black. And where's... There we go, there's the frame rate section, set that to 60. See what chat says. Unreal Engine and Blender I use iMensis Classic. It's all good, man, it's all good. When I eventually get a PC and I want to get into 3D animation in 3D, how much does Blender cost? It is free, it is completely free, and will be free forever because of the way that the company treats things. They want as many people as possible to experience 3D work. And the thing is, you can do different things with Blender. It doesn't have to be traditional 3D. You can do sculpting in it. You can build buildings in it. You can do characters. You can do anything with it. There's also a cool tool, which I recommend you search up online, called Grease Pen. And Grease Pen, what it does is, it allows you to draw stuff in 2D, and it gets made into 3D. You can do some really fantastic artwork with it. How does Blender make money then? I do not know. Let's see. I'm going to search that up. How does Blender make money? Oh, I love that. It's the first question that somebody's asked here on Google. Blender earns money through individual corporate donations, or individual and corporate donations, sorry, which take the form of a one-time contribution or a regular monthly commitment. Blender also makes a less significant amount of money from merchandise sales and ticket sales. Interesting. How is Blender funded? The foundation is funded entirely by donations from entrepreneurs, companies, and users, plus many video game publishers such as Epic, Ubisoft, Activision, Valve, and NetEase have made contributions, and also companies such as Nvidia, Intel, AMD, Meta, Microsoft, Adobe, and Google have also funded them. So yeah, essentially just everybody gives to them to just allow people to be able to do 3D, which is pretty neat. I didn't actually know that. Right, and I don't know why the music has stopped there. Everything's gone quiet. Let's see. Oh no, wait, I see it's changing it up again. There we go. More European demo music from PlayStation. Looks like we all learned something today. Indeed. Honestly, I did not know that Blender had so much support from like bigger companies. I think it's just because like other 3D programs actually ask you to pay a student license or a seat fee. Normally, like for instance, one of the other ones that I used to use was 3ds Max. Back in the day, like the early 2000s, the standards for doing 3D were 3D Studio Max or 3ds Max and Maya, which is essentially the same thing, more or less, but with a different UI. The only other 3D programs that were available other than that were Blender, and I'm trying to remember, there was Lightwave 3D, and I swear there was another one, but I can't remember it. But essentially, what would happen is everybody would run pirated copies of 3ds Max and Maya, because the way that it worked is they would say, look, if you want this on your computer, you either have to be a professional and thus pay for it, or you have to be a student, in which you get a student license. If you don't have a student license, you're paying $3 grand a year at minimum for this. And people were like, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that, you know? So then they were like, okay, you know, so everybody started pirating the software. It was pretty nuts. Bit of a history lesson there. Let's see. Classic says, I miss the old lighting, VFX tones and placements. A lot of softwares had spurs, block shades, and colors and light from old school particle effects that are easier to use. Some of it was a little bit easier. Some of it wasn't. It's weird. Imagine if Unity got that type of support. To be fair, Riccatello at the helm would probably harm the trust. Riccatello was just tanked Unity. Unity was on top of everything for ages, you know. Dreamweaver. Oh, Dreamweaver was... Wait a minute, I thought Dreamweaver wasn't 3D. I thought that was to do with, like, website design and stuff. Could be wrong, though. Alkin says, I thought Source Filmmaker came out a lot earlier. It says it was 2012. Interesting. Let's go here. What this texture is sand, or like a sand looking floor. I'm going to set this up. Displacements. This is 0.1 in world space. And then we do the bump again. Bump into height, and then that into another bump into normal. Because that changes that into a normal map. Oh crap. And then we can plug that into the normal. And what the normal is, essentially, is that's another way of saying, look, these details that are 2D, I want you to trick everything into making it look 3D. That's the most basic way of saying it. Oh. 7.5, there we go. And this is specular, roughness, yeah, it's fine. And then roof, we'll do the roof. Making sure I get all of this done, because then later on I can just do this off stream. The idea is, again, like I was saying before, don't want to ruin this update. So I'm doing it all like this and not showing off too much. And then the final version, we'll do like another event for it. It'll be cool. Image texture, roof. That moment where we do these streams and we learn a lot of stuff together. And we have a little bit of a history lesson as well. It's all good. And also we just chill out loads. The perfect stream, being able to chill out and enjoy everything. Base color that has nothing else to it. Roughness is 0.6, they're on that. Let's see what chat says. Jacob says, yo, hello. Once I discovered what people could create in Blender, specifically Five Nights at Freddy's content, I got super interested. Oh, nice. Classic says they had drawing paints plus 3D software. They had a web maker and clip art tool. Miss Dreamweaver softwares. Interesting. Sky says, I still can't believe the whole Unity thing happened. I just can't believe the head of a property important as Unity would be like, go publicly and be like, we're going to commit fraud. So what it was, this is from my perspective anyway. After looking at all of the stuff to do with what Unity did, it's a massive pump and dump scheme. And what I mean by that is they deliberately tanked their own stock so that they could sell theirs at an inflated price. You know, which is nuts, and it's all insider trading basically, which means they have information that wouldn't be able to be accessed by the public, like knowledge that, yeah, we're going to deliberately do this in another 6 days, sell all your stock before then. You know, people wouldn't know that, and then the stock is devalued. So that's insider trading. But yeah, it's so stupid. It's Riccatello trying to be greedy. And a lot of the other members of the company that support stuff. I think it was like Iron Source or something. The one of the companies that's supposed to be involved with them and trying to push for more monetization. It's just like, oh yeah, everybody on, like almost everyone in Unity at the board of directors is in on this. They're all selling massive amounts of stock early on. That's suspicious. That's not insider trading. And then next minute, they decide, you know what? We're going to do this really stupid move because not only will the company make money from everyone else if we manage to push this through, and they just roll over and take it, but we get our fat stock at the end of the day that's worth loads that we just sold off. You know, so we're getting tons from this, and they just thought that users would roll over and take it, and of course everybody's just like, how about no? In fact, how about you go swivel? You know, so it's really stupid, and it was definitely, at least I believe it was done deliberately as a way of them making money quick for their own bank accounts. What should happen, in my personal opinion, is that every single one of those people on the board of directors, including Riccatello, should be investigated for insider trading. It needs to happen. He can't keep getting away with multiple ways of doing this where he does like insider trading, or like people at the top do insider trading. It's just not on. You know. Pump and dump, what are we talking about? So pump and dump situation is where a company or people in the company deliberately know what they want to do, whether it be stocks changing or being devalued, or what they do is they deliberately pump up the price of their stock by, or the value of it by hyping it up. And then when it's as high as it can go, they then sell everything and devalue it so that nobody else gets that and only they get their share. But yeah, it almost, like, that's the basic way of putting it. But a pump and dump scheme is almost like a pyramid scheme, you know, where you get a load of people in on it and you say, oh, if you invest this much, you'll get this much back. Well, pump and dump is where they say, oh, look at our company, it's so good, we're putting so much money into it, and they look like they've invested a load of their money in themselves. But what it actually is, it's money that they don't mind losing, and it's not too much. And then what they do is they sell their stock, take everything, and leave everybody else with nothing. It's a really nasty tactic. It sounds very lewd, Dave, says Damon. But yeah, it's nasty. I don't like it. Just recently, within the past couple of months, Yuji Naka, one of the original coders for Sonic the Hedgehog, got done for insider trading in Square Enix. So it happens all over the place, you know. I just realized I need to open this other window for a moment. I need to open this other window and make sure that I've got this texture correct, because if it's not correct, then I'm going to be messing this up here. Because I'm like, why isn't this 3D for a moment? You guys won't be able to see it on your screen. I'm actually doing it on mine, but it's not a big deal. Let's try displacement. Yeah, I'm just checking that I'm not streaming the wrong window there. I'm like, oh no. Right, I want that to be in world space and the scale to be 0.1 maybe? Oh, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Dude, or even 0.05? Yeah, that'll work. What is this music? Man, I know it's PS1 music, but... Right, we do that, we do trim. So this is going to be Brick Ruins 3 trim. Brick. Oh, 3 trim. What the trim is, it's a little bit of a pattern design that goes around the outside of walls and stuff to make it look 3D. Oh, we still got a load of European demo music to go through. Words, import text, image texture, there we go. And I need a displacement here as well, displacement from height. Only gonna do it a little bit. That's gonna be in world space. Open that up to here and get, where is it? Where's the trim? There it is. See what people are posting. It's one thing to trick gamers into buying stuff without regard for pesky little things like ethics, since gamers have no self-control or care or little of it. But breaking rules and trust of the clients is another thing entirely. Oh yeah. They need to be held for the consequences, you know, but the thing is, it's like, this has definitely shown people that they can't trust Unity, and that's going to impact the games industry heavily going forwards. I've already been keeping up with, I think it's Bellular News, the channel that I'm watching at the moment. They're actually really good. I was watching a joke video that they were doing the other day about Armored Core and everybody getting filtered on it. But they also do a lot of like industry news, and they were doing or they were covering the Unity stuff as it was happening, and it was interesting hearing their takes where they were like, you know, going forward, everything's just going to be Unreal, because no way is anybody going to trust Unity now. No way would you turn around to that company and be like, oh yeah, so anyway, we trust you with your licensing and everything. It's totally not like you're going to try and get more money out of us in future or try and fleece us, you know. Let's do the thing is, Unity for me has always been the company that has like a slightly weaker engine to Unreal, but it's almost like the underdog. You're interested in seeing where they're going with their engine and what improvements they're making, and it honestly looked really impressive like recently where they were putting more into it, and of course it was getting better and looking better. And then when they do this, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? What are we even doing here, you know? I need save star in here as well. Save star, and then I need to start importing stuff. It's gonna be fun. Hey, Fan 2000! See you soon, Fan 2000! Greedy CEO is the reason why we can't have nice things. Indeed, it tends to be that it's all these CEOs that already own quite a lot, but like, you know what? I think I want a little bit more. It's like, dude, don't push your luck, and they're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna have a little bit more. It's like, oh great. The next minute you have people doing stupid stuff like saying, oh, we'll charge you every time you reload in a shooting game. You know, because that was one of Riccatello's most famous quotes. Every time the player wants to reload, we can charge them, because when they're 6 hours into a game, they're not going to care at that point. They just want to continue playing. It's like, ooh, ooh, this is what I don't like, right? Is especially in like that is CEOs or other people at the higher levels treating players like morons, because it means that they're severely underestimating everybody and essentially just treating everybody like animals. And it's just like, dude, you don't treat customers like that. You know, you can try and design things as much as you want to benefit you and your company and stuff, but no way you treat your customer base like animals or things that you can easily predict and be like, oh, it's okay, it's all good, you know. It's wrong. It doesn't sit right with me. It's like, it's so disgusting. You know, it's like we've had some devs do stuff like that in the past. When they've talked about people that play stuff like that. It's just like, dude, what are we doing here? You know, I don't like being a part of an industry that sounds like that, because it makes them sound like, oh, we're better than everybody, you know. Whoa, what the hell? Is this Disney or something? That honestly sound... Oh yeah, it is Disneyland Peter Pan demo disc? I've never seen this before. I'm gonna get copyrighted for that, aren't I? PS1 demo disc that has just Disney games on it from like Disney 2002. Jeez. That's going that loads. I heard the Disney theme and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't normally listen to Disney stuff. It's like Crytek. Crytek were cool, yeah. This isn't relevant to the current stream convo, but if anybody is a Has-Been Hotel fan, the announcement trailer was released. Yes! I saw it! I saw it. It was so cool. I can't wait. I can't wait. So we're gonna get Has-Been. Second season's been announced. We've still got IMP to finish. Stolas is best boy in IMP. I will not accept any of the substitutes. The Owl Boy is the best. Except I do like the portrayal of him in the pilot. That is so funny. I wish they'd make him more like that again. Thanks for bringing that up, by the way, Nellikin. It's really good. Watch party for Has-Been. Ooh, maybe. I'm pretty sure we have 4 more episodes of Hell of a Boss this year. I'm not completely sure, though. That reminds me, I need to go back into Hell of a Boss and Has-Been worlds in VR chat. And oh, excuse me, a hiccup there. And explore them a little bit more, because they're really fun to play around with. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this bit of scenery early. Give me a sec. Scenery, new. Save start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit about how this works, right? So I got the save start. I'm going to need to scale this later on so that it's correct. Or maybe I can just do it here. What we do is we've got a flat plane at the moment. I'm going to add particles and everything else to this later on to make it cool, right? So we do star. We're going to turn this on its side, because at the moment we have no textures on it. It just looks flat. And everything else, it's not being spoiled because it's not applied correctly. So as you can see, there's stretch textures. It doesn't look good at the moment, so I'm not spoiling anything. But what we can do here is we can take one of the finished textures, which is the save star, and we can just find that save star and just apply it. Bam, there we go, right? And then we can go EV, make sure bloom's on. Make sure the bloom's on enough, and then we just turn that way. It looks a lot better when all the lighting is set up, but for now we get the glow coming off it. It looks okay. Pretty cool. It's lighting up Toriel a little bit because of how bright it is. Toriel's eyes are like glowing a little bit because of how dark it is. But slowly setting up everything here. And then we've got, how big is that save star at the moment? Needs to be not that massive. Let's see what it is in terms of like frisk. Okay, that's not bad. Put it in front of Frisk there and just have it glow off Frisk's face. And then what we can do is we can attach a spotlight to that, and that's going to light up the floor underneath it. So do star light. This is going to be really cool in a moment. Where's the lights? Relations. Parent that to the star so that it's sat right on top of it. Let's see what everybody else is saying here. Owlboy, indeed. I hope Goblin Slayer's good. Goblin Slayer better be good. I need to catch up on some of my other videos. What I'm going to do is when I take a break from after I've done like the ruins or these parts of the ruins, I'm going to take a tiny bit of a break and I'll catch up with all my other content, which will hopefully be really good because then everybody's not just... Like, everybody else that was previously on my channel is just like, probably like, dude, where's the anime? Where's the giant robots? And everybody else that's here for Undertale is like, where's more Undertale stuff? You know, so I've got to balance out my content. No. I hear Knights of Magic is getting another season. Ooh, the latest episode with Fizz and Asmodeus was so good. Yes, it was. I actually liked that. Getting to see Blitz's backstory was good. Classic says, oh my, hope your video stream will be fine with the music. Oh yeah, because the Disney thing. Mechs in a fantasy setting is just great. Indeed. I wonder if I can actually make some units inspired from that show in Armored Core. Potentially? I'm here, Dad. Oh, hello there. I'm Dad, says Sky. Sammy says, I'ma leave and come on in a bit. Okay, okay. It is nice to see you around again, though, Sammy. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up this light, because it looks white at the moment, right? So we're going to set this up to be yellow, and then we're going to change its settings to be the same as the other one, which I've got in the other file. And, just size, radius, custom distance. Right, it needs custom distance and shadows. So custom distance is 0.95, size 180, so it affects quite a lot. Blend mode. So now that should... Does this have contact shadows in the other one? No, it doesn't. Interesting. If I put contact shadows in... Did I not put contact shadows on that because it would glow more? Yeah, I feel like I did that even though you can see what it's glowing there. Hi. I might see what it's like with contact shadows for now, and then if I need to, I can take them off later. Yeah, that's the save star setup there, so we can see it glowing and glowing off Toriel and Frisk and Whimsum and Frogget. Frogget I actually need to upgrade because Frogget should have glowing eyes as well. I keep doing this. I need to fix it. Hang on. Where is it? Oh, for anyone that was around previously when I said I was going to do the idea of having Viva Pinata textures for the candy in the candy bowl, I went ahead and did that. So yeah, we have Viva Pinata references in Undertale now. I might actually slap some graffiti on the ruins in that bit that just says Viva Pinata, something for a laugh. Classic says, Armored Core 6 is so much fun. I love it. Moody, I enjoy it. I need to play more. When you say YouTube is being more aggressive with ads, you really mean it. I've got like 15 during the stream. Jeez. What other projects are you currently doing? I'm only doing this one. Like, this is... Actually, I've got one on hold. The only one that I've got on hold is another project. It's a video game one, a horror-based video game, which I explained the other day. It's going to be set in England, and it's going to be nuts. I explained it as like Five Nights at Freddy's, but you can't fight back. And the only thing you can do is run away, and everything is based on lighting. So for instance, you can have like areas where you can turn a light on, and then an enemy might go into that area as they're searching around later on, see the light on, and be like, you know, turn it off again, so that they can be in the darkness. The idea being that when you come back into that room, you'll see it dark again and be like, I cleared this area out. What the heck? You know, so... Moody, can I add you on Discord? Says TPPP. I mean, sure. Reminds me of the joy of creation where you literally just have to run away. David says, I joined on a world in VR chat and some guy was getting harassed by Nasi by the entire server because he had... Oh, I see. Yeah. He even explained what it was and they didn't care. What is Discord? Let's see. Oh, I'm getting a message. Hang on. Getting messages all over the place here. So yeah, that's that set up. I need to get the water set up as well, because that's going to be fun. We'll do file, new, water. I've got to copy the water from the previous one. Go back here. I'm getting messages from the community here. It's the moment. Because I'm getting community support as well. I got Bakers is like, dude, what's going on with this Frisk model? I'm like, what? I'm showing the Frisk model. And it's like a complete mess. Like, what's going on with this? I'm like, I have no clue. I got that from Source Filmmaker. There we go. That's interesting. Oh, funny naming references. What's his user? Mine's Moody Data. It should be. Damon says, yeah, I mean, it could look like that, but at the same time, when somebody explains it, you should calm down, says Damon. He seemed to be okay about it. On VR chat, I had that kind of similar issue with, you know, Altair from Recreators, how she has a military dress on. Somebody said I looked like that once, and I was like, excuse me, it is totally not like that. And they were like, well, what is it then? So I had to explain, and they were like, still looks like that. And I was like, oh. So that's why I don't use Altair too much at the moment. Because that was my original avatar. Because it had most of the abilities that Altair has as well. I did mention about the Discord thing, TPPP. I did mention it was Moody Data. So we got plane here, and then we go modifier, add ocean. And then I need to get the same ocean effects here. Water plane. This music, man, it's got some atmosphere to it. It's nuts. Okay, so water scale. I don't even. Is this even going to be seen? No, it isn't. Why am I doing... Dude, why are you even doing water if it's not going to be seen? I can do the effect for it at least. Actually, no, I know why. I know why. Time is going to be... frame 50. Depth 500. Spatial size 50. Random seed 35. Waves. Scale 0.2. 0.1. 0.2. 100. Alignment 0. And then that should... Hey, give me water. We're good. The VR community is truly something else. Is there a space? No, there is not. Sky says, I saw Recreators only recently, and it really did surprise me. It's a good series. I absolutely love it. Yeah, Moody Dates is my username. It's like my YouTube. I feel like realistic water physics would explode the average computer trying to render. This is all good. We're essentially like faking it. Like I'll even show you the fake material for this as well, because it's not too much of a spoiler. Or at least I'll show me creating it. Excuse me, I burped there. That was terrible of me. Okay, so surface color. Let's get to shading here. Base color is X value of this. Surface is this. Metallic 0, specular 5, roughness 0.2, so it looks like a mirror a little bit. Transmission 0.8, because that's how much light goes through it. Alpha is 0.7, and then we do this. What we do is, we do the following. Texture coordinates. This is just for the water itself. We generate the texture coordinates for what's on screen, and we say mapping into the vector. This tells the textures how they should be mapped and what strength. Do it to a point, and then we do a Musgrave texture. Musgrave texture into vector. What this is this is essentially like using the cloud filter in Photoshop. And what we're essentially doing is generating that and saying, look, do me a favor, look like water for me. And how we do that is we change nothing, but we do plug it into the bump, right? Which is the next one. Bump into height. And then we give that a value of 1, and then we plug that into normal. And then for the material itself, we go to blend alpha here. Do screen space reflections, and we make that alpha clip for shadows. And then if we've applied that correctly, that should look like water. Hey, there we go. And because it's already animating, doesn't look too bad, and can have it moving if I remember rightly. I'm trying to figure it out here at the moment. Just give me a sec. That was it. If I move it on the Z-axis, if I do like, where's Hashtag slash frame 50. Try that though, shading. What this says is this should move every so often. See how this looks here. Needs to be a different value. The shading, take that all off, put that as 1. Or just get rid of the driver on it. Delete the driver. Try on Y value. Nope, that's wrong. Let's just leave it then for that. For detail and scale though, I think I might change that to 8. Let's see about that. That's because Y was still at that. You need a NASA computer to render the physics. It should be the moody data like my YouTube. Huh, should do. That's strange. Hang on. Change that to 10 there. That's alright. The cool bit now comes with this next material that I need to do. Just give me a sec. I need to make this before it gets too complicated. So for this one, I need to make another room. Or rather, I can just put it in here and then we can do that later. Although I could just bring it in, but I'll just do it from here. What is it? Fake caustics. Then we open this, and this is going to be add node geometry. And then what we do is we grab position, put them into a multiply. Multiply everything but the Z value or the Z axis. It says that you aren't accepting requests. I might need to change that. Let's have a look, because I know I have some stuff locked down. I'm not getting any requests on my end, which is strange. I should be. If you can't find me there, you can easily find me on the Undernet Discord. What we do is we take this and we put it into a add. And we're going to make that frame 300. Come on, give me the delta. There we go. Voronoi texture, Voronoi. This is another one that's kind of crazy. Put that into there. We make this scale 5, and then we do random distance. We plug the distance into a color ramp. Color ramp. And then for the color ramp, oh boy. This is all crazy, just to get a cool effect. The color ramp, we take this and we make a minimum. No, not that one, it's a math one. Math. Where's it? Minimum. Wait, it is that? What the hell? Okay, let's try math node. There you go. Math. Math, and then multiply. Oh, trying to search for something, it won't. Are you kidding me? Right, let's just try. There we go, that'll work. Oh no, wait, it won't work because of it. Multiplied. There we go. Right, so we plugged the add into the other here, which is going to be a base. We changed that to logarithm. We changed the add to a minimum, I think it is. Let's just double check. Yeah, minimum. Plug the color into the bottom value of the multiply. Plug the color into the minimum here. It goes like this. Is the Undertale only for people above 13? Because I'm only 12. I can't remember. I sent the request. Let's see if I've got it. Oh yeah, I see it there. I see it. There we go. Let's try and multiply again here. What this is this is all setting up the material for the water effect. That one's going to be clamped, that one's going to be 0.5, then we do another one here. Oh crap, hang on. That one stays there, that gets put into its own little thing, a frame. Do, what is it, frame? Join in new frame there. And we'll put all this in another frame. Then we can just move the frame around. Oh. It'll move all of the code around. If you're familiar with Unreal Engine, then it pretty much works the same way. This is how I actually code in Unreal Engine, which is crazy. Then we change this to another multiplier that isn't clamped. The top value is fine, the bottom value is 20. And that goes into a group output. So we group that. We take all of this and we go make group. And that goes into the group output, right? And what this essentially is we can use this anywhere else if I need to at any point. We go back to the caustics window. Oh, hang on. I remember how to get out of this again. Let's do that one and then go back to fake caustics. And the node group, we're gonna rename that. What is it? Rename. Fake caustics. If I go into here, yep, that's fine. Now that bit should just work. Then we go back into here and we plug in another color ramp. To do color ramp, we plug that into emission. Alright, it's no problem, TVP. So yeah, we plug that into the color ramp. And then we change it to that color. We change the emission strength. Oh no, wait, we don't touch the emission strength. For the alpha, I think I can use that. Let's have a look. Yeah. Okay, so for the alpha, we now need to generate where it's going to stop in terms of where it's being generated, right? So we go texture coordinates. We do texture coordinate. We find something in 3D space, we go mapping vector, and we find it in the z-axis, although I think I'm right on this. This might be the... Oh crap. Just trying to make sure I've got this right here. Yeah, right. Then for the Z-axis, because this is going to be a fade out, we do a gradient, so we do a color ramp. We take the ramp and we switch it around here. We take it to about here. And then for the value, for this we go black, but then for HSV, we change the alpha. So the alpha is as low as possible, so it gradients out into a see-through thing. And then we attach that to the alpha. And then we make sure the material has... Although it says it has a roughness value of 1 anyway. And then we do alpha blend with no shadows. That should be all of that. Hello! Hey, Sammy! Levi Carmack says, hello! Hello! What are we working on now? I am doing the bit with Napster Blue. I'm just getting all the textures and everything set up. Levi, just wondering, are you new to the channel? It's just because I assume you're probably here and like, what's going on, you know? Yo, okay, so I'm assuming anyone that's coming in now is like, I'm new to the channel, I don't know what's going on. It said Undertale, so what's the big deal? You know, I'm assuming that that's at least what a couple of people in here like, right? And it looks really weird with me being on screen and all this other stuff in the Blender window. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I have right now that I've worked on for a little bit, and then show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back to, hit save there, and go to the trailer. What I'm doing is I'm creating a Undertale movie. What it is the entire True Pacifist run in 3D with a bunch of other YouTubers, including Revtrosity and a bunch of people from VR chat. So if you like Undertale, well, you're in for a ride. So this is old content now. It looks a lot better than the stuff I'm currently working on. I'm not trying to spoil anything, so you get to see the older version. Here we go. So yeah, I'm gonna let the trailer roll one more time, and then we'll go back to what we were doing, and I'll tell you a little bit about it and where we're up to. I put a lot of little details into these scenes as well. Okay, there we go. Right, so what I'm doing, as the trailer says, is doing the entire True Pacifist run as a 3D animation. The idea is the player also has a little bit of a place in the story as well, so it's not just Frisk going through the underground, but the player doesn't interrupt too much. Imagine Underplayer if you're familiar with it, but instead of the player being a hacker, they're actually imagining themselves being there with Frisk. We got all these neat little details, like 72 uses of for snails that Toriel's reading from Napster Blue. It actually says Napster Blue at the bottom of the book there. We got Kara talking to Asriel in Waterfall, Undyne generating a spear, Asriel coming back at the very end. There's Flowey. This is all old stuff. It looks a lot better now, trust me. I'll show you why it looks a lot better. We got the Dog Squad playing cards in Snowden. Alphys looking at the player coming out the ruins. Papyrus and Sans, the fight with Toriel, the old version. That's the electric puzzle with Papyrus and Sans. Metaton, as he's been introduced on the dance floor. Undyne. Sans in the Judgment Hall, which looks really good. Toby running away with Toriel's phone in Snowden. Nice Scream. Alphys with the souls, and some interesting wingdings in the background. And Dogony in the True Lab, and then we got Asriel using Star Blazing, and then we've got the credits at the end there. Metaton is looking intimidating. Indeed! So much detail. I love the detail, right? I've seen this trailer so many times with Sammy. I'm sorry. TPP says, alright, Moody, I'm going to start on a script for my project. I'll see you later. No problem. Metaton is looking at you intimidatingly. Scaring Kids is showdown on VR chat, says Damon. Okay, so yeah, we got a load of people working on this now. I'm the only one that's doing like the animating and stuff, but essentially what I'm doing is getting a load of the community involved to do voice acting and help out with like models and stuff. So it's pretty cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one of the recent versions of something that I worked on, which is Hotland. And then we're going to go back to what I was working on, which is the Ruins. So, recently we started working on Hotland and getting it done. And by we, I mean me. For some reason, I always reference myself as we. Because it's only me doing the main like animating, putting all this together. I have so many other people helping for like other little bits and pieces. Let's see, I think it's that one. This version of Hotland is still not fully done. There are details missing, like the bridge and stuff. But you'll be able to see it in a lot more detail. David Moody, indeed, indeed. I love seeing the evolution of your animation, says Damon. It's going to be so cool seeing the next update when we get the Ruins out. Just waiting for Hotland to update here. The thing is, because I put so much detail in, it takes a little while to load. There we go. Let's get the lava going here. As you can see, the lava moving up and down. And as we look around, you can see the lift, and there's the lab. And as we go around here, it's a little bit dark. I need to do the lighting a little bit better around here, but we've got the pipes, we've got the conveyor belts and the other pipes. Oh. There's the conveyor belts actually working properly as well. We got some more pipe bridges. We got the vents, which are over here with the little arrows in. We got the 2 shooting puzzle rooms. Again, all of this needs to be lit up a lot better. I need to do doors there as well. We go under here. That's where the cooking show is going to be. Oh, round there. That's where the cooking show is going to be. Then we come up here to R1, and we slowly go up. And we've got the top floor here. This needs to be lit up again. This is going to be where Sans' station is, sentry station. Then we got the bit with So Sorry. We go through here, come out the other side. The reason why that's so dark under there is there's this big thing above it that we'll see in a moment. We got some more vents over here. This is the notorious vent puzzle. And then we come round here and go up to the place where we've got some more pipes over here. And we've got, this is the area where I need to detail a little bit more, but this is the bomb area with Metaton. And then come to L2, we go all the way up here. Top of L2, we've got the horns. You can see just how high we're up now. Pretty big. We've got this high-tech floor and everything. We got all the vents over here. There are 70 odd vents in Hotland, if I remember rightly. We got all the vents here. It all looks pretty cool. We got all these lights moving around. I need to place some conveyors over here, admittedly, still. So it's still work in progress. But then we have this big rock formation that's being held up by those structures underneath, which is why it's so dark. And inside here is where Muppet's going to be lurking. We're going to have a load of like stuff in here, but you can just about see the little bake sale kind of drape that she's got going on there. If we look at that, you can just about see it going over the edges. Can't wait to see him in his red suit. This would make a good album cover. So yeah, we got that. We got Muffet's area there, which is pretty cool. And then we've got the resort and the core. I have to turn the lighting off for this so I can show everybody. But yeah, we got the resort in all of its glory, with all of its lights and stuff. Again, I still need to light this up a little bit better. It's only got demo lighting at the moment, and I keep tweaking. We've got the resort, all its massive glory. I need to add the doors on properly. And then we can do inside the resort later on. We got the gold on the front there. We got the side. I need to add Catty and Bratty's place around the side here. And then we have the core, which is so massive it just dwarfs everything else. And there are some memes and little references on the screens on the core here, but I'm not going to show them off. It'll spoil the fun. So yeah. So that's what I've been working on. I've done a lot of other stuff, as you can tell. Now we go back to what I was working on, which is the ruins. What I've been doing here is just doing a effect, and I'll show you what that effect actually does in a moment. I'm just getting messages here. I'm just trying to see. Okay. So what we were doing here is working on a tiny effect. When we go back into modeling, I'll be able to show you what that actually does. So at the moment, we're slowly working on this area. This is the only time I'm actually going to show this off before the update. So let's just take that. And what we need to do is we need to make a copy of everything here. The reason why is because we're going to do a neat little trick with it. Take all this and delete the bits that we don't need. Delete that, delete this, and delete everything else apart from this one room with the water in it, right? This material that I made is going to go on that part. Fake water caustics. That's actually going to go into here. We're going to make a new file for that called caustics. Caustics. Basically just the effect of water looking like it's reflecting off everything, right? There we go. Geometry. Move. Minus. So it's back to where it should be. Kind of working. Don't know why it's not working fully at the moment, but it should work, which is weird. And why is it doing that song again? Twice in one. It's another version of the demo music. It's just... It should have worked, but it hasn't. That's awkward. Because it worked before. I want to know why. I'll just have to import that. I'll literally just have to import that material again. It's fine. It's no big deal. I can do it again. Let's just get rid of that for the moment. Get rid of... Or rather, keep that room. What I'll do is I'll append another version of this from the other file. What was it? Caustics test 2. Collection. Delete that. Where's that cube? There it is. So this is meant to be the effect. As you can see there, that makes water look like it's going to be on another surface. And then I'm just going to edit that and apply it. But it needs to be applied correctly. Let's try. I might need to actually tweak that later and then add it to it. Yeah, we're going to have a test plane there for caustics. Clearly that other one did not work. Then we're going to import everything else. Music is giving me Time Splitters vibes. I wonder if you did the Time Splitters OST, would you get copyrighted? Probably. Probably. Let's see if we can get Blukey in here. Where's he at? Or where are they at? Sorry. Spider, Toriel, Frogget, Whimsum, Risk. And then we do Napster, Bluke. File save, append, blend files, Napster, Bluke. Collection. There we go. What I need to do is get rid of the joints and rigid bodies there because it makes no sense having them. Oh. And then we just got the empty there. I wonder if Napster Bluke's still got the spooky material that I made. If he doesn't, I'm gonna have to, or if they don't, then I'm gonna have to change that up. Napster Bluke's gonna be at least as big as Frisk. About there. THQ owns it, so I reckon it's copyrighted to Steven, most likely. Oh boy. Ooh. Push Napster Bluke over here and see what we're looking at. Ooh, spooky eyes. What I need to do is take the movement cube and apply a transparent material. There we go. Now all I need to do is get that texture right, which I had on an older version. So let's just go open Napster. Oh, no. Let's try Ruins. It should be version 3 of the Ruins, the old version. Let's see if I can get the material looking correct. Whoa. What's happened here? We just like opened up the main file. Oh, so it isn't that version. That's the bit with Toriel. Let's try open Ruins. You won't be able to see it because I'm opening it in a different window, but I think it might be that one then. Ruins Part 2, Ver2. Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's do the shader. The shader for Napster Bluke's body is interesting. Got a layer weight to it and everything. Let's see. If we're gonna redo this now. Where's body, body, body? Body. Right? Then we go to shading. I know why that's been done. Let's see, we got transparent BSDF. And then we've got layer weight into that. So that's layer weight facing. And then facing goes into a color ramp. Right? And then what this says is, at certain points, you will look better. Ooh, take that up a little bit. Go into emission. Then the emission is 10? Okay. Interesting. And then for the mix shader, the mix is 2.14. So we've got a mix shader and then another mix shader. This goes into there. That BSDF goes into here. The transparency goes into there. And then this is 0.214. And then it's alpha blend and alpha hashed, but I think I'll make that alpha clip instead and see what that looks like. Okay, so he does look a little bit more see-through now. So now I just need to tweak stuff. So we've got like, that's what I did for the eyes. Oh, I see. For those, I did the same kind of thing. Okay, so we need one that's transparent, one that's not. So we do, this is a really easy thing to do here. Do this. Make this an alpha. And then we do a mix shader. Mix shader. Plug this into the bottom. And then what this does is this controls the transparency. So it just makes it easier for me. So we can rename that. Oh no, wait, hang on. Can I rename that there? Nope. It'd be cool if I could rename that so I know what it is in the actual menu here, but it's fine. So what I can do is just take that and use that on the mouth as well, I believe. Yep. So I can use that on the mouth and everywhere else. Just make sure I've got this right. Shadow mode for the mouth is nothing, okay. Let's get rid of this. Shade it to surface. Don't do back facing. Mix shader. Non-alpha blend. Get a load of messages here. Okay. The body one again is the exact same because we've got two versions. We got like mouth, body again. Hang on. Oh, I see. That uses the same one. That will use body. Body, body, mouth. Take that there. Plug that into mouth soon. Body. Body 2. We'll do the eyes as well, so that'll be body 2. So all this fades in and out. Eyes, yeah, that's fine. That's gonna be body 1, body. If I need to, I can change this back. Tears are fine, headset's fine. Dapper's gonna be body 2. Why is the two versions of Dapper there? Body, body, body. Oh, that's an MMD shader? What the heck? Yeah. Strange. Let's try body there on that. Body 2. And then we'll do a switch up on here and see if I can do this. Where's the model? Right. If I do, where's the headset? Because I need the headset for later on, so we do like... I just unedit that for a moment. We'll just do that smiley face. Oh, dude, I just realized why I didn't touch the other stuff before. Ah! Can I just go back here for a moment? Okay, I'm gonna have to get Naps the Blue Kid in a bit. He needs to be fixed. I need to go open Naps the Blue. This needs to be fixed before I can do anything else. Right. Alpha. Clip. None. Should be fine. Then I need to change this material up again. And I need to make sure all these are named properly just in case. So we've got value A, E, O, oh, come on now, I, U, A, sad face or sad, that's self-explanatory, that one, happy, and the last one is sad eyes. Should be all of those controls done now, and then we've got the headset, which you can apply later on. So I'm going to need to change up the materials here and make sure that they're all good to go. Fun times. Alright, I'm going to take a break for a little bit, guys. So, I shall talk to you next time. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed, and I shall see you on the next stream. Hello to everyone that's new, and I appreciate the time spent with me. Until then, bye!